are 4 mono drones, 1
Yes.
duo drone.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, there are 4 monodrone guards that walk the building in perfect step around the perimeter of the building. At the top point of each corner of the roof rests a duo drone, which is bow and arrow equipped and whatnot, sort of as guards up on the tower kind of idea. And then the front door is manned by a pentadrone, as well as inside the main corridor in the top floor, the main room, or the lobby, whatever you want to call it, also has a duo, or is it? Yeah, I mean, another pentadrone inside there that handles everything.
And room is 414.
413.
Sub 3? Oh.
He's on subfloor 4, room 413.
Oops.
Subfloor means down, so it's actually 4 floors down.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was correct in my assertion that we had to do paperwork even to get into the front gate to interact with these potential 4 guards, or we could try to sneak in.
Yep, yep, totally. Torlak told you that it would probably be hours of work in order to get the proper permits and go through all the connections and whatnot. He's not the most orderly of folks. He suggested that it would be a bit more better to maybe try to sneak in or lie your way through or do something, especially if you wanted to get to Huron in time to potentially help them, because they really don't know what's going on inside this building. But that was up to you guys to do whichever way you felt you wanted to go. It was a risk either way.
Well, we could potentially create a distraction for the drones to take care of while we slip in.
Yes, that would be potentially very difficult, being that they're probably a single mind, a single task.
True.
Hence
What is
their
our
name.
what is our motivation for seeking out this man?
Huron Countess Plethrus.
Yes.
Well, I am on a mission to return his book to him. That's why I've made this journey.
And everything seems to be connected. I think it's fate. It started everything with the biters killing the god, and they pulled us into it. I give a side glance down.
She looks at you aggravatedly.
You said there were creatures present at the death of the god. Didn't you? Sada and Tiva?
Sorry, I was muted. There was an elf with very dark skin and white hair, and she was really old. And then there was a bunch of shadowy-looking people. And there was the shadowy-looking people, and then there was one really big shadowy person.
You know that the smaller shadowy people also, they all had the porcelain masks. I mean, I don't know if...
Oh, yeah.
You didn't see those in your vision, but if you ever mentioned that, that would match up to what you saw.
Oh, dang. Really?
She described them exactly as she saw them.
In that case, I would describe my vision, of course. It tore Vendrick apart. There were only pieces on the ground.
It was an illusion zone.
But still, I didn't know what Seda and Tiva experienced.
Yes, the creature they seen and the one you described do seem to be of the same. But why are they connected? They encountered them at the Affling's respite, and so did us in the replica of it on this plane.
Very much so.
But we all encountered the illusions.
Maybe Hieronymus can
Maybe he can
if
clear
he's,
some things up.
Yes, maybe if he's still, well,
He did spend a significant amount of time in that room upstairs. He would have more experience with it. Maybe he too experienced seeing these smoky porcelain mass monstrosities.
Maybe he knows what they are.
It could be. Or maybe he's just crazy. Either way, I'm here to return this book to him. Beyond that, I care very little, to be honest with you.
Let's get in there first. How do we do that?
Well, if it's just more bureaucracy and more forms that we need to fill out, I'll volunteer myself to spearhead that. Like I've mentioned before, I don't mind doing that kind of thing.
It will take us a week, probably.
No.
Maybe we could all do our part.
It seems like the only other option is going through the underworld and dealing with unsavory figures that are not meant to be sought out.
I do not want to end up trapped in this place, for it is unnerving to me. Just being here creates great unease within these creaky bones. I'm okay to go with you, Zephyr, to finish this paperwork.
Yeah, so the last thing you'd want to do is something that'll get you detained here. I understand that.
Yes, I do not want to go to this crazy clink as a new occupant of her padded room.
That would be very unfortunate, I agree.
Seda would tug at Vendrick's robe a moment and say that they're not gonna make me do paperwork, are they? Do I have to do paperwork too?
We'll find out when we get there. Maybe we could just have a couple of representatives to fill the paperwork out for the whole. It is unknown to me, Seda.
Okay.
That's essentially what I'm volunteering to do. I'm if they'll allow it, I'll be our our solicitor essentially. You might need to put your signature down in a few places, but I'll navigate the actual.
Can you write your name, Master Dwarf?
Yes.
Very well then. Torlak, where was this location of the place we need to fill out this tedious, long-winded paperwork?
Still saddened by watching his beautiful statue burning in the fireplace. He'll turn towards you, Vendrick. You can see a bit of a tear glistening in his eyes. Back at the front gates where you came in at, what's the same place that you probably filled out everything out to come wandering around here?
Of course it is.
Says, like your friend there, says, I have no interest in going to the crazy clink. I don't have any problems filling out the paperwork for you. If you want to take the lead and go to the clink, I'll go down and fill out your paperwork. I just need a couple signages.
I have another task for you, Torla, who seem to be a halfling that is most connected in a place such as this. We will be needing a gate home. Do you know of the gate to Sigil?
There's several of them. We use them on a weekly basis for deliveries.
Very well. So it should not be hard to ascertain. Thank you, Torla. And again, I do feel most saddened by the loss of your little halfling goddess, but it had to be done. That we agree, correct, old friend?
I understand what you're saying. It's perhaps it'll be better in the long run. I can only pray to the gods.
So I've got all my gear with me, travel light basically anyway, but I got my knapsack and shall we?
Let's go.
Yes, indeed.
With a sigh, Torlak will grab a couple small sacks behind the bar, throws over his shoulder, pulls some money out of his till, pockets it, locks that up, and leads all of you out, locking the whole building up before he leaves. Outside is just your normal, typical morning. The sun is just starting, or what's counted as a sun. It's like this orangish-colored orb in the sky coming up over the horizon, so everything's kind of cast in this reddish orange hue, contrasted by the white starkness of all these buildings. People are walking perfectly one side or the other of the street, always moving with buildings on their right, and they're always moving forward like streets. And he'll lead all of you down the road. It doesn't say anything really until you get to this small butcher shop, and he'll stop and look over at you, Vendrick. He says, "Hey, this is the place where Huron had his office. But you said you already spoke with the orc guy."
Yeah, we met Thaden just prior to coming to your ill-fated inn.
And he'll sort of stop and says, "Huron, I don't know what happened. Perhaps it was like the rest of you, and he couldn't take the hauntings in the place. But I saw him when he came down that morning, naked and raving about the creatures that were haunting him in his sleep. It's a shame he lost his office, but it's the way things go." He'll turn and start to walk. As you pass by the door, Zion.
I have as we start walking, I'll ask Torlak, before you went mad, do you know if Plethoris had done any traveling, perhaps to like the lower planes, or do you know what he'd been getting into prior to his seeming madness?
Huron was, let's just say he didn't follow the rules like he probably should. He had a midlife crisis, perhaps. He was always straight-edged, followed the rules, did what he was supposed to do, and then one day,
Changed?
says if he didn't care. He says he didn't do much traveling, really. Here and there, he'd travel to Sigurdon and other places now and then, but for the most part, he stayed at his office, he scribed his books, he worked as an accountant for the city and many other places. But he wasn't an adventurer, per se.
So he'd been to Sigil?
Oh, yeah, probably fairly common.
Recently, before his episode?
He says, he stayed at the inn for, I don't know, a good 2 weeks or so. I think during that time he didn't travel to Sigil. Before that, I don't really know. I didn't follow in his footsteps or track him.
All right.
But, he traveled there often. He would come back with wares or other odds and ends and tell us about it, but just nothing out of the ordinary.
You did say that he lost his shop. But from the paperwork that I had gained from Theta the Orc, it seemed like all the transactions were made according to the laws and legislation of this place. Is this just a matter of speech? Lost his shop?
He, as a matter of speech, perhaps as in he lost most of his business. Things didn't keep up. He wasn't bringing in the money he once had in order to pay certain people off to protect his establishment.
Very well. I understand what you're saying.
Outside of that, he seemed quite content staying above the tavern and doing his things. And he was a bit skittish now and then in days, and he looked a bit worse for wear, but yeah, until that moment that he came down stark naked, it was a bit of a shock, to say the least.
Where will you be? You're going to fill out the paperwork. You're coming with us to do that. I would like to offer you a place of residence, being that yours is lost. You shall return with us to Sigil then.
Said you mentioned a place I could stay. I says, I don't have much interest in staying at the tavern if it's not what it once was, and if my curse has, cursed the place, or whatever the case may be. I plan to fill out the paperwork to have it cleansed as it is. I can help you out as well, assuming that you will help Huron get better and at least look into the issue for me. I worry about my friend, but I don't have the means to get in there in such a way. Says I'll be happy to help.
Very well, we will do what we can for the man. If his mind is addled, he is beyond saving. There's little we can do. Maybe he's in the proper place, but we will find that out in due time.
That'd be the best thing. I'll just need to have you all show up, sign your names down. I'll fill out the basic informations, and hopefully we can get this underway, and they'll allow me to be there in place of your honor that you will return properly. Hold me as a bartering chip, per se. I'll fill out the paperwork, and you do the duty.
Have you known any to be released from this crazy clink?
Oh, no. Once you're in, you're probably in for life. I've never been in the place myself. Windscale has been there. She's visited Huron. At least she said she has several times. But from what I understand, it's floors upon subfloors, broken up into people with different disorders, whether they be mutes or mentally handicapped, or some people who are just plain crazy. I'm not sure beyond that. They talk about the floor of horrors, but I don't know what that is.
Interesting.
He dropped. He'll be back in a second.
I'm still here.
The plan is to go to the bureaucracy buildings. I assume these conversations are taking place as we're walking in that direction.
Zan, they're going through this, I was saying you sort of like in the back of the line or whatever, but as you pass by and you can smell those fresh cooked and smoked meats and get that smell of cooking bacon wafting out of Thorax building here, you'll notice across the front of the door, you hadn't noticed it the day before, just a big heavy wooden door. You can see where there was a sign for Hurons. It's sort of off color. The stain is a little bit different, or a little bit weathered. But instead of that sign being there, you can see it scraped in very faintly until you pass right in front of it. But somebody looks like they have carved in the word visage across the front of the door. Nothing huge, but it's definitely carved into there, a small little area. And you can see these big scratch marks coming down part of the doorway. You did not notice it the day before.
I stop and stare. Vendrick, didn't you mention the word visage? And I point at the sign. Look at that.
Yes, I did see it all about Huron's room, scattered from inch to inch. It seems to be the same. Shall we go in and make sure the orc within is not also addled-mind and crazy by illusions?
Oh, good gods.
You sure it wasn't there before, Zon?
I'm not sure if I just didn't see it.
It wouldn't hurt us to take a moment. Plus the dwarf's belly, I'm sure I heard it grumble. Some more bacon, maybe, for the long road and the long wait while we do the paperwork.
We were just talking about that, and we smelled the bacon. We smelled bacon.
And, she only thinks of her stomach, even though there is stuff to do.
That is not true.
I take my hammer ready. I don't hold it up, but I have it ready as I clop over to the door and open it just a little to peek inside.
Looks exactly as it did the day before. Probably just enough that you're not hitting the bell or anything. So you look and you can see they'd all behind the counter getting some meats prepared. You can smell the sizzling bacon on the stove or the griddle top as he's hanging up some things and basically preparing for the morning.
I look back. Looks good so far. And I open the door completely and walk in.
He'll turn.
Good day, sir.
See the big smile, the sharp canines as he stares back at you. He's like, "Aye, get back for some more meat. I have the best bacon. I told you it was the best meat you'd ever have."
It definitely is, and I turn away and we're being reminded of Vendrick and being in pieces.
What'll it be, good dwarf? You look like you're eyeing my bacon. I can always tell when people are staring at my meat.
She kind of what?
My meat.
Oh, yes. Yes, bacon. Some bacon would be great.
Start pulling stuff. So what did you find out about Huron? Did you talk with Torlak like I suggested?
Well,
He's right here, actually.
speaking of, do you know someone scratched something in your front wall?
Says what? No.
If you want to look for just a moment, maybe that might interest you. And I point at the front entrance and invite him to check it out.
Yeah, he'll come around the counter. Once he Torlak kind of steps, he'll offer a smile and pat the halfling on the head as he passes by. But as you open up the store, he'll stare at it. Says, no,
What's he got going on behind the counter?
He's not paying any attention to you as he sort of moves around. So behind there, it's just his basic butcher shop. He has the different meats laid out, cuttings. He has different blades and stuff, but nothing out of the ordinary for a butcher shop.
Okay.
Visage, it says.
He says, yes.
Torlak. Does it mean anything to you? You didn't hear anyone scratch it in the sign.
This is not a thing. I came out, like I said, my place of residence is out back. I came out front this morning and started preparing breakfast for the family and getting my morning meats ready. I didn't hear such a thing.
Zani feels she didn't see it. He didn't see it as we walked by just yesterday. Is this something you would have noticed, you think, Mr. Hork?
Most certainly. I wash the door down every day from just dust and whatnot. It's very important to be clean here in the meat shop. I would have noticed this. This was not here. This was not here.
I'll lean over to Vendrick. We can't burn down his house as well.
No, we will not do that. His meats are too valuable. Smoked is one thing, burnt is another. But I do fear for you, Torlak, for I have seen this mock before, this visage, and it was left in a place where there was madness, illusionary magic. We've all faced it. We've all came through it, but not unscathed. Isn't that right, Mr. Halfling? But if it is a mock that will show the coming of such a monstrosity, a coming of this illusionary magic and madness, I fear for you and your loved ones. Be on guard when you sleep at night, for there are evils around.
Thank you, fine man. I'll have this door replaced within short order and perhaps send it down and got rid of. But I'll stay on best of watch.
I'd like to investigate. Zephyr just silently walks up to the. You said it's scratched into the wall, like with claws.
The door. Yes, looks like it.
I'm gonna run my fingers through the grooves and really, because they're talking about like illusions. I want to make sure it's actually really there, and not possibly an illusion. And I have that good like resistance against illusions and stuff.
Give me just a basic saving throw for magic, and it would be actual like a spell, so the magic, whatever your wisdom there bonuses, or whatever the bonuses you get.
I rolled a 7.
So
you don't roll under, right?
Yep, you roll under.
Oh, you do.
Yep, because those numbers go down. Oh, you roll above. I'm sorry, you roll above. I always get that back.
Yeah, I think it was above for saving throws, right?
Above.
Yeah.
Yeah, they feel completely real to you, and even especially because your strength against the magics and illusions, stuff like that. It seems like it's there, and the fact that everybody else has seen it as well. It feels you get a couple of splinters in your finger, you can pull out. And everybody else has seen it as well. It doesn't come across magical by any means or anything like that.
Does the word mean anything to you, Zephyr? Visage. Seems like an odd moniker, an odd label to leave on a wall or on a door such as this.
It doesn't, insofar as that it's nothing I've heard before, but I'm just trying to piece things together in my head, and you all have stated that you've seen beings covering their faces with masks.
This is correct. I have not seen such a thing. These, however, have points
I
to
trust.
Zahn and the two primes.
I have no reason to not take them at their word, and it's just I guess I would imagine they must be connected.
Yes, I have no idea what this monstrosity could be. This wispy black smoke creature with the mask.
I turn to the orc and I say, "Good sir, you don't happen to have some kind of altar or maybe effigy of the god of your preference in your home? Shop?"
Sure, this is no, I don't really have. I'm part of the Free League myself. I don't really follow any particular belief or god or anything of the sort.
See.
Yeah, I doubt it would have anything to. If these things are targeting the faithful, then I slept soundly through the night. So can't be that.
Tiva, you didn't really have too many visions per se. You were able to break out real quick. You were more seeing poor Seda running around and fighting and bashing their head into the wall and then coming after you, thinking you were somebody else. Yeah, they'd all shake his head and, no, I don't have anything. I'll take care of this door this afternoon and be on my best watch. I'll let the wife know as well. And I don't want to scare the children. They're too young to worry about this, but I appreciate it.
Be well.
You as well. He'll turn and has a bit of a stressed look on his face, but ultimately kind of goes back to his work. And, he's offered anything if you guys want any bacon or anything. He'll give Seda a nice handful of crispy, salty bacon.
I'm going to pass on that. But...
Do you have a library, a place where we can do some potential research in this place of order, Thadon or Thorlock?
Thorlock and that. Aye, one of the best libraries in all the Outlands, but takes a lot of paperwork and time to get into it.
Can't imagine it's public.
No, nothing seemed to be without paperwork in this place. A scribe like myself could find a good life here if it wasn't so unnerving.
Zai, that's what's so strange about Prahiran. He had quite a business booming, and then all of a sudden, like that, it was gone. Most of his contacts gone. People gave up on him. Lost his family, lost the building, lived above the place, and lost his sanity all within a couple of weeks.
Where did his records go? He must have kept records here.
Says I don't quite know. I imagine he probably kept them in storage down at the main hall. That's where most people keep their extra belongings.
Have you searched this place thoroughly, including possible basements and sublevel?
We did not. All we did was look through the paperwork the orc provided in order to ensure that the deed of sale was legitimate. So we just looked at that kind of formal paperwork.
They'd all would look over it through them and be like, yeah, building was completely empty when we took over. Basement, solid stone, there ain't nothing down there. Well, a bit of furniture now. The back rooms, everything was cleaned out, spotless, not even a bit of dust.
If I may speak freely, I fear that maybe this is a mark provided by someone that has ill feelings towards those that have been marked as such.
I'm saying this not in the company of the orc to try not to unnerve him any further.
I fear Huron was such a mark, and as such, these creatures, these wispy smoke monstrosities had come and visited him, and I fear now that this man might also be as such.
He doesn't appear to know anything, though.
No, he doesn't, but maybe him talking to us has put the mark upon him. That being said, that does not connect We had no connection to Huron before this. Again, I have no idea. This is all craziness to me. Visage and monsters of wisp coming in dreams of halflings and dwarfs through portals.
Make sure if any of you spot any of these creatures, especially if they're dealing in illusions, the training of Zerthamon makes the mind a bulwark against such tricks. So make sure you let me know if you see any of these things around.
Oh, I will let you know.
and we'll see how their wispy forms deal with fists.
Excuse my ignorance, Mr. Zephyr, but are the Githzerai also gifted with such abilities and without or withstanding the powers of illusionary magic?
Not inherently, no. Although our minds are well suited to the practice of magic.
It was
and
also
thus,
told to
some
us.
of us will practice illusion magic.
It also came to our knowledge, I should tell you, that this one Lindis Scrog, this underground leader, he too is that of Gith. It is unknown
really?
if it's Zerai or Yankee, but Gith it is thought by this man, the orc we just spoke with.
That's an interesting development.
Or at least the whispers of such, for he is a man that is only heard of in whispers, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if our paths cross, then I'll be able to use that as a springboard. All Gith have a common heritage, so regardless of where our lives have taken us, there will be something that will be able to connect us deeply.
Talking of paths, our paths now lead to Huron Accounts Plethoras, I fear. We will have to go see if this madman still has anything of worth in his addled mind to share with us. Of this visage that he potentially scratched upon the walls of his cage of madness. Maybe of these monsters, this wispy smoke. We will find out. It will just take us a while. Paperwork awaits.
I warn you all, barminess can be contagious. Steal your minds.
Who can be contagious?
You know, barminess. Addle cove.
Oh, barminess.
Nonsense. Yes.
Yeah.
Seda just looks over at Tiva and then looks back at Zephyr and looks back at Tiva and then just looks back at Zephyr again.
And I should tell you, Zon, if you ever do find my body minced into pieces, you do not have to carry me forth to a place of resting, for I fear I have no value in such things. Leave me where I lie.
I turn to the side again.
Lulak looks at you a bit disgusted as well.
I walk up front quickly.
Seda hands Vendrick a piece of bacon and tells him that he needs to cheer up a little bit.
I take it and start to chew upon it.
I pull you guys back a little bit from Torlak and say, I'm not certain that this halfling that we should entrust this halfling to fill out our paperwork for us. It seems like he's trying to be just kind, but any mistake could result in, problems, as I'm sure you're all aware.
Yes, it does seem like a place that doesn't.
It's nice of him to offer and all, but I'll be filling out my own paperwork. I suggest you all either do the same with yourselves or let me handle it for you.
Oh, you handle it.
Let's go find out the protocol, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Eva would smile and agrees. Yes, I agree with the goat man. Can you fill out the paperwork for us?
I'd be happy to. Well, as happy as one can be filling out paperwork.
Torlak will head out the door, follow all of you as you start to head down the street once again. As you left Thadal, he went back to work, but he does look a little concerned. You can see his eyes this doorway cautiously quite a few times, the last you see of him. The morning starts to brighten up. People start to come out of their houses, and the day gets a little bit underway. By the time you get to the other side of the town and get to these offices of paperwork, the doors are open, ready for people to come in and out. You can see other visitors that are stopping in to basically follow the whole protocol that you did upon arriving. Some exiting the building with their name tags, some heading on in to get theirs. Yeah, I imagine, Zephyr, you're probably taking the lead here in this case. So as you come up to, the desk, you'll see this Modron sitting behind the counter. It's just a simple one, round, single Modron, twiggy little legs, and it stands there. This great eye looks up at you. Most curiously, though, you'll notice it has this bright, very large blonde wig over top of its body, hanging down around it. It just stares at you, blinks a couple times, waiting.
Love what you've done with the wig. A bit of individuality.
It'll sort of comb through its hair a little bit.
Well, my friends and I wish to visit someone in the Crazy Clink. It's the occupant of subfloor 4, room 413. And we'd like to, I'd like to fill out our paperwork so we can be on our way with all haste.
See its eye scan over, and it just runs its finger down this big pile of all these different stacks of papers. It's finally stopping at one, pulls it out, grabs a piece of coal, and begins to write down some different information as you talk to it. Finally, putting this single piece of paper up on the desk. You can see basically exactly what you told. It's been written down on just a blank piece of paper, but ad verbatim, as you mentioned it, of what exactly you're going to do. And then just a line at the bottom with an X.
Are there any other like Modrons around that I can see? Or is it just this one?
Just this one. There's other people sitting at desks filling out paperwork and odds and ends. You will notice that they all have basically the same piece of paper you do, filled out for whatever it is. I mean, you can't see what they're doing, but it's the same style. Like you wrote down whatever it was with a line, and they're quickly just scratching down their names, and some of them are putting papers up on the desk and waiting behind you. Is there a problem?
Yeah, there is. You've gone deviant.
No. TikTok, quite fine.
Oh, you have a name?
TikTok. Sir TikTok.
Sir TikTok. Taking a name and a gender for yourself. Well, that is adorable. And in another circumstance, I'd be happy for you. Yeah, it looks great. Yeah. But we need this to not be messed
You have
up
a
in
bit
any
of
way.
a line behind you, sir. Perhaps we can speed this along.
Yeah, well, this place is all about lines, so I'm going to need to actually speak with your superior.
Oh.
It'll close its eye for just a moment. You see its body takes sort of this weird jerk to the side, and it opens it back up. What can I do for you, sir?
You can fetch me the next highest Modron under subsection 7 of Article 15 of the entry protocol. States that if a visitor wishes to speak with a superior, that you're to go fetch one at once, or else face extreme censure.
It'll close its eyes and give that weird sort of jerk. You can see it's not acting quite itself.
Yeah, I can see that.
Before it opens its eyes back up again, looks around, takes this wig off, and stares at it kind of confusingly, and sets it down. What do you want?
I want to not have improper form filling bite me and my friends in the ass.
It'll stare at this form, sort of confused. Take it, staring at it, sit it down on the desk. This time it runs through these forms. What are you doing today?
Visiting the occupant in room 413, subfloor 4 of the Crazy Clink.
Excellent. This time it'll go down through and pulls out a much sizable stack of papers and sets it up atop. Simple procedure. Fill out the paperwork, return it to the desk. Any questions? Ask.
So this looks like real, actual scribed, like it's got like the automata seal and stuff on it.
And like expect what you were expected to begin with, a sizable stack of papers and reading and what have you.
Yeah, that'll be all. I can fill this out for myself and my party, correct?
All of them must sign it. You can fill it.
Good. Thank you. TikTok. I give it a little wink.
Looks at you. Excuse me.
I don't know. And I walk away.
It'll eye you curiously for a moment before turning back to the next one with the same personality, per se, as he starts to work through the things. You notice anybody else coming up with that one form before has been scrawled out, he just completely shudders away and makes them start all over again from scratch, much to their demise.
I set about filling out all the necessary details and how long we're projected to stay and all that,
Give me a 1d6 plus 1 roll. See how many hours it takes you to fill all of this out and get underway.
2, so 3.
So 3. Do you guys do anything during these 3 hours, or do you just let him go about his business and fill this all out and wait patiently, I guess, for the best of your ability?
Well, Sada's going to obviously just kind of be, I don't want to say just constantly confused, but I mean, this is all above her. So she would just kind of stick with the rest of the group. If they're going to stick around, so would she.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tiva's pretty much going to be doing the same thing. Because, we're in areas that this is not our country. I mean, this isn't our world. Yeah. So they're just kind of lost and alone.
By the time your 3 hours is up and you pile your way through this paperwork, a lot of it's just the same information over and over and over again. Is that fair? But able to get through it and come up to the desk and see TikTok or whatever the Modron is still acting as you would expect him to, or it anyway. Takes the paperwork, flips through it, finally coming to the last page where you all have signed your name or an X or whatever the case is. And he'll copy down whatever name you wrote down onto a little golden colored ticket, a yellowish piece of paper. Working it down, gives it a stamp of approval, and hands each of you whatever name tag is yours. It is only good for 1 day, and then you must repeat the paperwork again. So it's best to do your work in a single day. Give this to the Pentadrone. Clip clap. It will be at the front desk, and that will tell you from there what to do.
Very well. Thank you very much.
And he'll wave you out of the way as he works on the next one. You notice this blondish-colored wig that it was wearing is in the garbage can behind it now.
Oh.
As we move away, Tiva would ask the whole group. I'm sorry. Sada would ask the whole group while there. Why does this place make everybody fill out papers for, like, just to go to the bathroom? Why do you have to fill out papers for every single thing you do for so long? How do
Don't make such a suggestion.
I mean, I'm just saying, how does anything get done here?
Well, slowly.
Yeah, slowly, unless you were born here, and then it's the most natural way in the world to exist. This is a border town that leads to the plane of pure law. The planes each correspond to to different concepts. It's a lot to take in, but when we get some time, I could walk you through some of the basics.
Yeah. Okay.
How about you, Zephyr? Are you from such a plane yourself?
We, the Gitsarai, we hail from actually the plane of pure chaos, limbo.
Quite a contrast. You do not seem like a chaotic soul to me.
We are generally not. It is within the swirling ever mutability of limbo that we carve our cities. The main capital of which I am from, Shrek-Talor, it's carved entirely by mental control. We
So
wrest
you
the
bring
mutability into solidness.
you bring law and order to the chaos.
Well, we don't get hung up on law as much, but yes, you could say we use our wills to carve a bit of order into chaos, into the chaos. It helps us focus. It helps us understand the nature of reality, that law exists within chaos and chaos within law.
I was wondering why you felt a little more at ease in this place than I.
Yes, that would be why. Although personally, I don't take although my people generally cleave towards law, it's not, the teachings of Zerthamon tend to make one wary of extremes.
As you were filling out all your paperwork here, you seen Torlak would have been in line behind you. He got his own paperwork, trying to get help with his building, have it tore down or boarded up or whatever the case might be. But he's quickly, they're diligently just working at his desk. He'll give all of you a nod as you head out. He says, "Aye, Vendrick, don't forget our deal. I perhaps will definitely need a place to stay, and I'm quite concerned for my friend, but perhaps you could just meet me back here when a lot of you are done, and we can figure out what to go from there."
Very well, Master Halfling.
You'll have arranged passage for us back to Sigil?
Says, I can get us underway and get the key to one of the portals. I says, that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Very kind of you.
Because I had a lot of wares brought in and back and forth during my time of running the establishment, so it won't be a problem at all.
Your story interests me, Mr. Halfling. There was some within my order that would like to hear it. You can find respite with us. The rooms are plain and gray, not finely decorated like your last place that you called home, but it will be a place for you to rest your head.
At this point, that's a bit all I need. Besides, with a bit of splash of paint and a couple colors on the wall, it'll be like home again.
Not quite like home, I hope.
Good point. But I'll get everything underway. I'll fill out my paperwork and I'll meet a lot of you back here. Good luck.
Thank you for your assistance. And I will let Huron know that you are asking about his well-being. With any luck, maybe we will be able to get him out. But as you say, none that you've known have ever been released. But we will try our best, for I have words and questions with him as well.
Excellent. Well, good luck. Good luck. And go back to working on his paperwork as you all head out of the building. 3 hours have passed. Sun is up a bit higher, warmed up a little bit. And the city seems to be back to normal as it was the day before. People going about their business. As you move down the street, again, every building looks exactly the same, so it takes a moment to find your way. All of your paperwork, you get a nice little map of the city, per se, and you can figure out where it is you're going, but everything's in perfect block, so it's not hard. Up ahead, you can see the very center of the city running east to west. The street there is about 3 times the width of any of the other streets. It seems like a main thoroughway. Oh, this is sort of the main bustling area as people move back and forth. To the east would be just another exit back out of the city and out into the outlands. To the west is this great, huge domed arch that is just completely blocked off with what looks like brick. It's up to you guys if you know or not, but anybody who would have interest in some of the different planes of existence and whatnot would know that Automata is the border city to Mechanus, and that this archway is probably the portal over to that plane of existence. It's not bricked off to not let you through. It's just the fact that the portal is closed or you don't have the key or whatever the case is. It's just not open at the moment.
It's not boarded up per se. This is what its natural state of being looks like.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
When not in use.
Yep. Yeah. In this main roadway, but to the west, I'm sorry, to the east would be, the smaller archway out of the city, but it's down by that way that you find this crazy clink, as it's called. As you move down and you get close to this building, again, it looks like all the rest. Simple 2 stories high, 1 block in size, white marble building. But it does have 4 of these Modrons marching around in unison outside. They're all equal a distance apart. So as one comes around one corner, the other one is going around the opposite corner. And they're all evenly distributed step for step with one another. They stare forward, their eyes constantly switching back and forth. The top point of the building, you can see the duo drones sitting on top, and they just stand perfect, unmoving. They're sort of shaped dually. The bottom half of the body is facing in one direction as the top half faces another. Each part has its own face. And it looks sort of watching all directions, a 360-degree view sort of thing. Standing in front of these larger double doors made of just a solid black-colored wood is a pentadrone. Looks much like a starfish-type creature with these spindly legs and a couple arms, both holding spears on either side. And every leg of this starfish-shaped thing has its own face and its own eye that are constantly moving about in different directions, mumbling to itself in this weird ticking, grinding sort of sound. It seems like it's almost doing a marching chorus to keep these Modrons moving. What do you do?
How much common knowledge would it be for us to know that the number of sides to these things are in some ways the indicator of how many tasks it can handle or how many responsibilities it has?
Probably pretty good for the most part. All the way up through the pentadrones are sort of common, so it's not necessarily common knowledge, but as long as you have a little bit of information or experience with them, you probably know that.
So we probably at the base level know the hierarchy that these mono drones that we had interacted with, these circular phases, shapes and stuff are like the grunt, like the worker hands, basically.
Well, certainly, yeah.
Okay.
And the more faces, the more sides, or the larger it is, that's the higher up the arc, or the hierarchy.
So that's pretty common knowledge for anyone that's in Sigil and or a plane.
And the pentadrones are huge, right?
Yeah, they're, I mean, not like huge, but they're decent size.
They're like 10 feet tall. Yeah.
You must excuse me as well. You guys take the lead because I missed totally the bureaucracy part of the role play here. Okay.
So yeah, we just stride up with confidence and just say, hello, we're supposed to be here. We filled out all our necessary paperwork. Here's our name tags.
You can see it holds out a hand, looking at the one, hands it back to you, takes, Vendrix looks at it, gives it back, goes down the line to each of you, looking at it. Its eyes will all sort of shift right to you, Zephyr, as you're the one speaking, whatever. And it seems almost like it's just scanning you up and down, each eye looking at different areas of your body.
I remain completely still and with like a good poise and posture, and just like run like Zarthamon's lessons through my mind.
All the while, my face is like a war shack. Just all the blotchiness is moving all around my face.
It gives you the bit of a stare for a few moments, Zephyr, before it kind of taps you on the shoulder and waves you forward. And then as the next person comes up, it steps in front of you. And it'll go through the same motion, almost like it's scanning your body. It does take notice of what you have on you, what weapons you have, and gives you a complete look over. But one by one, it'll let you in as long as you have the permits and whatnot. But it seems like it's almost like it's copying your image or copying your who you are sort of thing. Right. And then I'll open up these doors and let you enter. Inside, it's just one big 100-foot by 100-foot square room. There's absolutely nothing here except for the white marbled walls and then a black hardwood floor, except for in the very center. There looks to be what you would describe as a glass tube that goes from the ceiling into the floor. And right in front of that glass tube is a desk, quite large, where another pentadrome stands. All the eyes shift directly to you as you enter through this doorway and move up to the desk. It doesn't say anything or whatever. It just stands there waiting.
We need to get to subfloor 4, 413.
It'll pull out a drawer, looking through a series of little cards that it has. And finally, it'll take one out, hand it to you, Zephyr. You can see that it just says subfloor 4 on it. Its eyes will, well, pair of eyes anyway, kind of shift to this glass tube behind it. Scan the card and travel down. Keep your eyes closed as you move through the floors.
Yes, sir. Yes, thing. I walk up to the tube and look for a place to. Were we each given a card individually?
No, just the one.
Okay. Does the tube look like it's big enough to fit all of us?
Look, it's probably a good 10 feet in diameter. It'd fit enough 8 to 10 people easily. I mean, it'd be a little crampy, but it'd fit y'all. And that's front of it.
Yeah, I motioned for everybody to follow me into it.
As you come around, it does have a doorway, but again, it looks like it's just completely made of glass. As you touch it, though, it's kind of cool to the touch, and it feels a lot more solid than glass. Vendrick would probably recognize it. Maybe Zephyr is glass steel, so it's the strongest steel, but it looks like glass. And it has this little hinge door in the front. Inside of it, though, you can see there's a square panel with all these different blinking lights, and it has almost like a slot you would stick the card in. That's what you get the sense of. But each one of the blinking lights starts with L and is listed 1 through 10. But as soon as do you slide the card in there?
I'll let us make sure we're all in first, as I caution about, let's make sure we don't get separated in this place, obviously. Yeah, once everybody's in, I'll slide the card through.
All of you step in this chamber. If you look up, it's only maybe 10 feet high, and then the floor below you looks to be made of marble itself, kind of in contrast to the black floors on the outside. As soon as you scan this little card into the slot, it'll pull the card in and just keeps it inside this box. You can see all the lights go out except for the number 4 light blinks. This door in front of you slides closed, locking you inside of this tube. And then you can feel the bottom of this place shift a little bit and then slowly start to lower.
I just reiterate, I say to everyone, the pentadrone said to keep your eyes closed. And
I do that immediately.
And then I'm going to close my eyes.
So Zan, you close your eyes. Zephyr, you close yours. Tiva, Seda, what do you guys do?
Yes. We're going to follow everyone's example because we're ignorant.
Tiva doesn't really understand why we're having to close our eyes, but she will comply.
All right.
I close my eyes as well, and as I do so, as the darkness consumes me, I reach out mentally to Book. What do you make of all this, Book? I say, telepathically in my mind space.
You can now feel the floor jerk a little bit as you start to lower, and you get silent for a moment, Vendrick.
I'm gonna actually. I'm gonna say, Vendrick, are you cheating?
No, I respect the rules of this place.
And you can sense the sarcasm in my voice a little.
I thought for sure you'd be you'd be the rule breaker and get to tell us all the juicy things that we were missing.
We are not up to level 4 yet. There is still time.
For a moment, and then you hear Book come back across through your mental connection. Seems like typical bureaucracy here. It's as I would expect. He says, I must be quite honest. I've never been to this place. I've heard the horror stories and the things that dwell here.
Have you, book? You've heard of this place in your pages of knowledge and information.
So yes.
What do you know of floor number 4, where our acquaintance resides? Who would reside on floor number 4, book? The crazies, the psychopaths, the psychotics, the addled minds.
You get this emotion as if it's almost struggling with itself for a moment. It says, Jason didn't keep it fully encrypted. I could share a bit of information, Vendrick, if it means that I will be in contact with my creator in just a few moments. It says, floor 1. It is a floor of darkness, smoke, of shadow things. Floor 2 of perfect cleanliness, of unison, and of luxury. Floor 3 is like the sewers of the worst scum-ridden place you can imagine. Glass, needles, and spidery-like things. 4 is where they keep the mentally unstable, the ones who never awake, but scream in nightmare visions. You all first feel this coldness wash over your bodies, just chilling you down to the bone. It only lasts for maybe 10 or 15 seconds. Before, even though your eyes are closed, it's as if you've been staring into the sun. You have this bright white appearance behind your eyes. Again, that only lasts for 10, 15 seconds. And then, as you pass down a little bit further, this noxious smell of decay, death, and just utter rotting garbage drifts through your nostrils, turning your stomach for a moment. And then the whole floor comes to a stop. It shakes a little bit. And you hear a dinging of this glass tube that you're in. And you have this weird sensation sort of wash over you. Give me saving throws. Let's go with, I guess this would be magic. It is not a magical spell, though. It's just
So spell immunities won't come into play.
Yeah, correct.
I rolled a 2.
I rolled a 1, so failed miserably. Couldn't have.
So I have magic device and magic. Is it device?
Nope, it's magic, not device.
Magic, okay.
Yep, but it's not an actual spell.
Enchantment or illusions?
It would be a fall under enchantment.
It would fall under enchantment? Okay.
Do we get planar resistance on this one?
Yes, you will.
Okay, that's important.
I passed. I got a 12, and I have +3 on non-spell related magic saves. And my save is 15, so that makes it a 15, right?
So we have to roll with a 3 or better. It's the same.
Roll high.
Got a 4.
Not high enough.
So I get, it says planar resistance 1, 2, or 3, or is there 3 pips in it?
3 pips, so you need to roll a 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, well, we both
failed.
All right. So I guess everybody except for Zephyr, and even as this comes to a stop, you get the same sensation from Book, Hendrik, but you're just washed over with fear that seems to just dwell in your gut. It twists and turns, and your whole body trembles a little bit. You were all considered petrified, not petrified as stone, but petrified, scared at the moment. It doesn't have any mechanical effects, just the RP aspect of it.
Well, the door's open.
Do you open your eyes?
What is this place?
Yeah, once we stop moving, I open my eyes.
Yeah, as soon as I get that fear of dread and fear course over me, I open my eyes in the defensive posture. Hand goes to my sword. We didn't get our weapons confiscated, did we?
Nope. You just scanned you.
With a defensive snatch out, my hand goes right to the hilt of my Viking sword. I don't pull it. I just look around frantically. You can see, Zephyr, as you look upon my face with the moving colorations, you can see, though, the eyes have that look of fear.
As each of you open your eyes one by one, You stand in this tube. It's glass all the way around you, so you can see, but it looks like you're sitting in the center of a log cabin. All the woodwork is pitch black, though, and the floor itself is this dark, woodish, like a dark brown, maybe like a dark maple color to it. On each wall, though, it's perfectly square inside like a cabin, basically, but each wall has 2 doors on it. All of the doors sit open, and on the other side, you can see what looks to be just simple bedrooms. They look the same, though, just inside of this wooden cabin. There's no other decoration, and there's nothing else here besides these rooms, which each have beds in them, but you can't see them from exactly your vantage point, what is inside, besides like the end of a bed here or somebody's leg sticking there sort of thing. But it looks like just bedrooms all the way around to 2 on each wall, so 8 total. We
don't have any idea of how many floors we descended. There was no like stop and go sensation or anything like that we felt when we stood in the tube.
You may have missed. I think he went away for a second when we first got in and descended. Only there were 10 like buttons, and they all went dark when I scanned a card that the Modron gave me, except for
number 4.
Except for number 4, yeah.
Gotcha. So we assume we're on the right floor.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you look over at this panel, you can just see the floor number 4 light is just a solid reddish color. There's this soft chime sound above, and the door in front of you slides apart to allow you to leave. It's quite warm here, much warmer than it was outside. It's as if it was a hot summer day that's sort of musty smelling, a bit humid. Not necessarily uncomfortable, but a little bit unnerving.
A bit unnerving of a place to keep nutters, I think. Doesn't seem like a place to calm those of the crazy mind.
Maybe it's because of all of them.
Or they don't feel it anymore. Give me space. Give me space. This is terrible.
So you step out into the cabin.
Oh, I push through.
I follow, hand still on sword. How many doors did you say there were?
2 on each wall, 8 total. Directly, you're facing north as you step out of this thing. And you can see it's, it would be 4.
I start looking for plaques to see, like, by the doors to see, like, numbers.
Yep. You can see each one has, so directly in front of you would be 401 and 402 on one door, 403, 404, and then 45, 46, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 behind you, 13, 14, 15, 16 on your left.
We spot 13 immediately.
Yeah, my move towards 13, but passing by these doors, I'm going to be very wary. Do they have, like, are they completely sealed up, or do they have like bars, or what?
Nope, they're just complete open doorways. They're just hanging open. They have doors themselves that could be closed, but they're all hanging open. As you pass by a couple, you can see each room.
All the doors are open?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's not okay.
Yep. Each one has, as you pass by, as you start to make your way across, it's about 30 feet from the center of the room where you're at to either side wall or whatever way. But as you move your way towards this room 413, each room you can see has 2 beds in it. All the beds look occupied. Some of them you can see all different bodies of being humanoid. Some of them are smaller, probably halfling or dwarf. Other humans, there's a couple larger ones. So definitely different races. Some of them are perfectly still. Some thrash about as if in the state of nightmare. They're all asleep, per se. And one of them mumbles this and that, and without being next to him, you can't really hear, but they all look like they're in basically very fitful sleep. Some are in straitjackets, some are wrapped up in the blankets, some are just thrashing about on the bed. You see one man in the corner or in his room just walks into a wall and steps back, and walks into the wall and steps back over and over.
Nervous shaking hand on sword, and each step really measured and timed. I walk towards 413 nervously. And you could sense it if you were to look upon me. You could see my hand twitching a little, as if I was ready to pull that weapon and start swinging if anything comes through the door before I initiate the interaction.
I don't know that it's, I'll say quietly, I don't know that it's proper protocol for these doors to be open. I'm not sure everything is in order here. Let's keep our wits about us. Be careful.
As you move towards this door, it would be on the north, I guess, the eastern or the western wall, and it would be the door on the left of the western wall. So as you move towards that, Vendrick, you notice at first there's maybe glancing around nervously. The door that's on the right, you're not headed towards that door, but you can see in there fairly clearly from as you're making your way across. You see this woman on the bed, very skinny, frail looking, but quite tall, probably 6.5 to 7 feet tall, real gangly looking. She has this pale greenish colored skin that's drawn really tight on her bones. And she'll just kind of lean over a little bit, but her eyes seem to come to rest, staring directly into yours. And she'll open her mouth for just a second. Then you can see this red streak up here across the side of her, or this red streak across the side of her cheek, and blood dribble down a little bit. And then she'll just arch her back as she sort of goes into this almost like pain sort of thing and lets out this really weak, frail, like scream. And as you watch, all of you else would notice this as well, maybe stopping for just that second to look over as you hear this woman give out a scream. And then you just see her body lift off this bed and slam into the ceiling, up out of view. And then you can just see blood dripping down from this room. And just their screams echoing.
This place is madness.
I walk faster.
I can see why these individuals are kept there, out of the sight of the goings-on up above. Whether that be right or wrong, I am not their jury and executioner, but these souls are tortured. It makes me feel quite uneasy. I, too, would like to get out of here as fast as possible.
Well, let's do what we came here to do then and question Hiron. But just remember, if any of them run towards you, don't attack them unless you absolutely need to. They might just be running up to you to try to scare you or anything like that. Just saying, it'll be more trouble for us if we have to explain why we had to kill one of them if they attack us.
More paperwork, huh?
More paperwork.
As you move on this room to the side, it just pours. It's like it's raining blood inside this room, and it begins to pool outside the room and sort of run in a rivulet across the floor. You have to step over it as you move into room 413 and 414. Inside is 2 beds, one on the left, one on the right. The one on the left is completely empty. It looks like it's been made up, but nobody's slept in it for any point in time that you can tell. It's perfectly still made. The sheets are all smooth. Nothing is on the nightstand next to it. On the other side of the room, though, the bed is just this crumpled mess. You see an elf sitting there. He has his back up to the headboard, and his hands are crossed in a straitjacket across his chest, and he just sort of rocks back and forth. But as you enter, he'll lift up. Looks like a middle-aged man. He's elven, so you'd guess he's probably a couple 100 years old, but in this young man's sort of prime. Beautiful blonde hair that's pulled back into a ponytail and runs down his shoulders, and these large green eyes, very, very thin like lips. And his fingers are abnormally long. Each ending is sort of this sharper nail, kind of like you see some guitar players use, and they have the nails that are thicker that they use to pluck the strings. And he'll just rock back and forth, but as soon as you enter, he'll stop. And then he watches as each of you comes through the door. His hair, almost like he keeps it perfectly, even though his arms are in the straitjacket, it's as if he's well taken care of.
At ease, Elfin. We are here for one named Aaron. You are not he. He should be there. And I point to the empty bed. Where is he?
Rock back and forth, but under the bed. Under the bed.
Very well. You stay where you are. Understood?
Yeah.
We mean you no harm. Yeah. Our business is with him and him alone.
Under the bed.
I say to the group, let's keep eyes on the elf and eyes on the corridor behind us, on our backs.
Oh, no worries. I take care of that. I place my butt between the others and the guy.
Ada immediately squats down as low as she can and like leans over to put her head down as far as she can and tries to look under the bed from where she's at in the room.
You can see a man under there, older looking, his hair just a complete scatter of whiteness that's around him, this white beard that's covered in dirt, basically, very unkept underneath, and he just lays there on the floor just staring back at you completely still.
So
the eyes, Seda. Are they green? Are they as the orc described him? Look past the others. There's madness here. It will make him look unkept. The eyes will give it away.
Are they green?
They are.
They are. So while she's looking, she just kind of goes, "Yep," and she starts crawling over toward the bed with a couple of pieces of the bacon she got from the orc in her hand. And she crawls over to the bed and she like holds the bacon out and she's like, "Come on out, come on out."
Here, boy.
You can see him move forward very, very slowly. His eyes locked on yours, so you to move forward a little bit. Sort of sniff at this, and then you just, in like a flash, you see his hand come out and grab this bacon, bring it back in as he's chewing on it, just staring at you. Looks like a man who's been broken.
So Seda would sit on the floor in like cross-legged, like in a very like young child, almost like a childish fashion, but just kind of plump down and like put some more of the bacon down and start eating a piece of it herself. And as he's eating the bacon, she just kind of look at it and she'd take a bite of it and then nod at him and smile like, "You're sure it's good, isn't it?" And then and while he's chewing, she'll just kind of take her hand and just wave at him and, "Hey," just like say, "Come on out," without, vocalizing it, but just say, "Hey, come on out." Yeah. And wave her hand toward him. Trying to be as friendly as she can be.
Give me a charisma check. So 1d20 roll equal or under to your charisma.
To my charisma. Where is my... Okay. And I actually have a decent charisma for a fighter at 14. Where's my d20? Oh, there it is. So I got to get under it, right?
Yeah.
I got a 10 under 14.
Nice. So it's slowly at first. He definitely seems skittish. Doesn't say anything. Constantly sniffs, almost like a scared animal as he pulls himself out. The rest of you would see as he slowly pulls himself under this bed. This older man, looks like he's maybe in his upper 60s, human. These bright green eyes contrasting with this dirt body and this white hair and beard and stuff as he slowly pulls himself out and picks at this bacon, has a bite of it, and pulls himself up alongside Seda, sitting cross-legged, right beside her, watching the rest of you, but seems like he trusts her or is hoping that he would at least protect him from you guys if he did anything. He'll give you this big toothy smile when he looks at you, Seda.
A little less unnerved from him, but still feeling the fear of being in this location. My nervousness is towards the elf, and I walk towards the bed that's been perfectly manicured, and I sit down upon it, just off to the left of Huron.
He will quickly, as you move toward him, he'll push himself back up so his back is at least against the wall and kind of tug at Seda to move next to him.
Yep, I'll continue on to sit down.
She'll scoot over next to him and then just kind of lean over and say, "He sounds really grumpy, but he's actually kind of a nice guy."
Tiva will smile. "Well, it appears you've made a friend, Seda."
And she would nod and just like, "Yes, hopefully." And then
You
look for the others.
When you say that, Tiva, you see this old man look at you, and he reaches up and pets Seda's hair, sort of stroking it back. Friend.
I slowly reach into the satchel and pull book out and place it down onto the bed beside me and just lay my fingers on it and tap my fingers on it slowly to see if I can get him to draw his attention towards it.
You're doing a book kind of, not that it actually sees, but it senses Huron there and be like, "Ah, yes, Vendrick, that is Huron. He looks worse for wear, but that is him. That is the man who can break these pages and created me in my humanic youth."
And why would you want to return to this man, this broken man, to spend the rest of your days in this foul place, Book?
Because I did not know he was like this. This is not the man I remember in mind, but that I was wishing for the best. But well, that is my fate, to be brought back to him.
If that is your wish, we will make sure we follow through.
Are you the one they call Huron? Huron accounts as plethoras of automata. We are here for you, sir.
He doesn't pay any interest or look at the book, but when you mention that, he does listen to you. And he sort of mindlessly looks over at Seda, at Tiva. He continues just to pat Seda's head.
Maybe you go by other names now, but you were once known as this. Is it true? Are you the one? The bookmaker, the scribe?
She passes him another piece of bacon, and while he's patting her head, and says, and then whispers, "It's okay, you can trust him."
Hold up his hands, sort of looking at him. Yes, says as he looks at you, Vendrick.
I cast a spell. I cast ESP upon him subtly. Say a few words. He hears me say it. He sees me do some gestures with my hands, and definitely with my eyes piercing his green eyes as I say those words.
Give me a... Where's my character sheet? Hold on. For whatever reason, my character sheet is covered up, but I need the saving throw that's right after paralyzed, in between breath weapon and paralyzed.
Poison?
There we go, yes.
I did not pass. It's 11, and I roll a 7.
You get this. As soon as you sort of break into his mind, you're just overwashed with... You're not poisoned, but this nausea and this lack of... care almost. It's as if you get the sense of the same things that he's feeling, and he's transferred the weight of his curse of what's going on in him over to you, and you just feel this body this mind that's been broken and tortured. You see flashes of what looks to be this woman just being completely torn apart in front of his eyes, though you don't see anything. And you can see him scratching in this visage thing over and over and over in these walls upstairs in Torlek's Tavern. And you can see him as he's getting dragged down the street by the Modrons, and he just keeps screaming visage. And then you see these wispy, black, smoke-like creatures with this porcelain mask that seem to have been following him. They're everywhere he looks. As you're looking through his eyes, his memories, they seem to be behind the buildings, behind the trees, in the gutters, always just around watching him. They all look the same, except for one. And you'll see as he's being thrown into this room by a pair of Modrons. And as he looks out this doorway, it's where he is now, but he's looking out into the main room, this main log cabin-like room. You see a visage, but it's much, much larger than all these other ones that he's seen or that has been described. And it has these thick black horns that curl back from its head. And instead of this porcelain-like mask, it's extremely demonic-looking, partially decayed, with great bloated stomach. And then it's just gone. And you feel this rack of pain go through your body for a moment as your connection seems severed.
I clutch at book and bring it to my chest and take a few inches back upon the bed to put my back against the wall in a defensive posture. Take a gasping breath even though I no longer breathe.
I feel your pain, Huron. But fear not, I have been to the place you were before you came here. I have seen your scratches upon the wall. I can only imagine the things that those creatures put in your mind, for we too have faced it, even just for a little while. Any longer, and I too could be in this room, like you, like that health, like the mad green woman across the hall. But know this, Huron. This was done to you. This is not who you are, and you can't come back. But I must know what these creatures are. And you, I fear, if you can communicate with me, you know more about these in your experience than any. But they are still out there, Huron. We must stop them, or we must at least find out what their mission is. Why are they here? Why are they haunting the souls of this place? And beyond, for these two have seen them elsewhere.
He continues to pat Sada's head as you speak to him.
Yes, her. She has seen them.
Slowly stands up. You can see his whole body trembles. His hand shakes a little bit. And his eyes look over at this elf that's still sitting on the table across, or the bed across. And then to each one of you, and he stands close to you, Sada. He almost like he's getting as close as he possibly can to you, even rubbing up against you, not in any sort of physical way, but as if you're like protecting him or something. And he'll look at you, Vendrick. They think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I know what I saw. You've seen it. I felt you in my mind. Says, imagine that every day of your life for the past 2 months. That is what I've lived with. I didn't ride the mayor like a pony on accident. I wanted to be here. I was hoping they would cure me of this torture. But they don't. They don't care. They don't give two shits what happens. They just throw me in here and let me rot with these nightmares every night. What are you going to do for me?
I can offer you an anchor to your past. Something that could remind you of the man you once were, the respected man, the friend to Thorlock. For he cares for you still. He has put us on your path to come here to see your well-being. It seems like you are in a terrible place. I can feel it. When I got out of the tube, I felt it. This is no place for you to heal. Here, he wanted me to bring you here. I come from Sigil, a place you've been, I was told. This book that you created when you were your true self.
I still am my true self.
He wants to be with you again. I'm sure there are others. But we must know about these creatures. If you know anything, please tell us.
If it's a sickness of the mind that you have, there are ways to cure that.
This is not a sickness of the mind. My mind is perfectly fine. It's these creatures that haunt my visions, that torture what I see. They change my perception. It's as if I'd be walking along a path and fall down the stairs that were not there. Or I'd be walking through a door into a pool of water where I could drown. They change what I see, what I smell, what I taste. I was eating a bit of broccoli yesterday, and turns out I was chewing on poor Margaret's fingers. I don't know what's real and what is not.
Why were you targeted, Huron? What is special about you? What is special about the orc that now resides in your store? For he too has the sign of visage scratched upon his door.
I wish I knew. I don't know what I've come across. I've lived every day just like any other. I didn't know any different. Nothing has changed except for they started in my sleep, haunting my visions, my dreams. I would wake up in the gutter, sometimes out on the streets, other places. One time, I went to bed, and next day I was in Sigil, waking up in the gutter. I don't know. I don't know.
Have you been engaged in any kind of research into forbidden subjects lately?
Do I look like a necromancer?
Could be. There are other dark knowledges besides necromancy.
I have no interest in dark knowledge. My work is with numbers and the evocations.
For whom?
For whoever hires me. Or used to.
You?
Let's
retrace your steps. Perhaps the answer isn't there. Someone that you worked for, maybe.
Says you'd have to search my books. Back at an office stored away. It could be a multitude of people. I've had thousands of clients over the years. Some unsavory, some perfectly in order.
Your office on Barron Street?
No. And do you still have a book out in the open, Vendrick?
Yeah, I kind of like slid it over a few inches towards him as a, a olive branch of peace.
He'll point at the book and he says, "No, the book is Jason's, who is from Baron Street. I am not Jason. I am here on account as Plethorus of Automata, or once was. I go by Mech now."
Well, Mech, did you remove your books from your previous location of residence? For now it is, as I said, a meat shop ran by a most fabulous orc man.
I've placed all of my wares in storage under the city where they could not be tampered with. We can go there, but I cannot escape this place. The whole while he speaks, he suddenly stops as he's been reaching over, but he has his hand on a book, and he'll start sliding it over towards him as he just sort of looks up and stares at you, Vendrick, just pulling this book towards him.
Please go ahead. The book is what brought me on this trail to lead to you. It is yours. It wants to return to you. Why? It's up to the book to know. But I told him I would return it to you, and here I am. All this other madness has happened after the fact. It matters not to me, to be honest. But I would like to have the information in this book, for it would belong to Jason, and Jason worked for my order, you see. That's where my part comes into this. I care not for you, sir. But if you could do this for me, unlock the secrets within, I will do what I can to either cure your crazed mind or to stop these entities that have made you cursed.
He'll hold up this book that you have and look it over for a few moments, opening up the pages and flipping through them. Inside is all just these weird literature, writings, languages, characters, numbers. Nothing that really makes sense to any of you that are nearby that can see it. It says, "The book was Jason's. If you're returning this, then the man must be dead. For shame, he still owes me money." He says, "I can unlock what's in this book and share its knowledge with you, if you can get me out of here."
You hear a grunting laugh in the background. Well, that's so easy, right?
He says, "The knowledge of the book for you. And perhaps I can find another place to hide from these things. For here they still come, and there is no escape."
They're still able to reach you in this place?
Every day of my life. Every waking minute, every sleeping hour.
Do you see them even now?
Right behind you. It laughs and scoffs at your mortality.
Zeta turns to look.
Yeah, I spin around. I can't see anything?
No.
No one can.
Yep, none of you see anything in here. But you can definitely see his eyes do focus a different place, as well as just behind you, Zephyr.
So Zeta would look at Vendrick and say, "Fix him?"
"He toys with your hair, with your head. It kind of goes like this. It's long claws."
What happens when what happens when I do this and I do a spinning back fist?
It laughs at you. Calls you a pathetic mortal.
Well, what happens physically? Do I pass through it?
Oh yes, you cannot harm the creatures. They are of but smoke and mirrors.
She gasps, and then she looks and she says, "Does it have a white mask on?"
He'll nod to you, Seda. "Oh yes, they all wear the masks. Except for the large one. That one is much like a leader of the pack."
So she immediately looks at Tiva and then turns and looks at Vendrick.
"I've seen it in your mind, Heron. but I do not know it. I have not seen this creature before. Do you know of this entity's dominion, where it is from, what its plans are for you and others?
No, I wish. I've questioned it, I've talked to it, but it just mocks me. It's as if it flays the skin from my bones, chews on my meat, eats me alive, but I wake up every morning back like this. I feel the pain, the horror. I witness death over and over and over. It seems like it wants something I can't give it.
Let's talk about what we can do for you. What's the nature of your imprisonment here? You were brought here involuntarily after touching the mayor in a lewd way.
I had hoped that they would cure me of this. I touched the mayor on purpose. It wasn't pleasant, mind you, but I rode him like an ass. They dragged me here. I ran around naked for a while. Gave them a bit of a reason to cure my mind. I've heard that they could do such things. The Modrons could reset the body. But they do not. They just leave me here, give me enough to eat.
Perhaps for their own kind they can, but no, it appears you sought out the wrong allies. But nonetheless, you must have been processed when you were brought here. Did you hear about, or did you see perhaps the nature of your containment to this place? Did they say how long they were going to keep you, or the parameters of? These are very ordered beings. They wouldn't throw you in a cell and just forget about you. Although I'm sure it must have seemed that way. I'm very sorry for that, but they have methods and reasoning and.
Oh yes, I sat for hours as they filled out the paperwork. They said I could leave when I was cured. That was the only, or they did not use the word cured. They said reset, but
okay.
That's it.
So then
I'm fine. I've walked normally. I've smiled and danced for their pleasure and done whatever they've asked to show that I'm normal. They look through me as if reading my mind, like your friend, witnessing what I've witnessed, and here I rest.
Well, I'd like to try something then. If you won't be able to fool them with your words, but if they can truly see into the state of your mind and your emotional well-being, then I can bring peace to that and remove your fear remove the fear that you have of the visions, calm yourself. I can, I think, present you to them of at least as sound as your mind has been probably since you've been here.
Very well. And what do I have to do for you? Nobody does things for free.
Well, you said if we got you out of here, then you'd be able to help Vendrick out with what he needs, and I have a few questions for you as well.
That is all you ask. Nothing else.
Travel back to Sigil with us? Help us out in our quest?
What quest? Do I look like an adventurer?
No. You're just a contact. An unwell one. But we can make you well, and then you can provide us with information. Beyond that, I don't really require much more of you. And to be honest, I see you confined in this place, and I see that you're not unwell like these other people in here. And it weighs on me.
Very well, as long as you keep your word.
I will do what I can.
Gladly help you as much as I can if you can get me out of this death trap.
Let us bring you. Let's go to the front office, and we'll present you. And shortly before we get there, I will bestow upon you the clarity of Zerthamon.
Very well.
Think that works? Won't they see that somehow? I have no experience with magic, but did you think they would realize that he's magicked? Now wiggle my fingers in front of your face.
It's not quite how it works. When one is given the blessings of Zerthamon, their mind is not falsely cleared. It is well and truly cleared. Just as if one is bestowed the ability to fly with magic, they can fly.
Well, you're the expert.
It's not like we can just give them a laugh if we get up there and it doesn't work. Worst case scenario, you return and we find another way. We can't make a run for it, though, because, well, obviously we are a city's depth of Modrons and Dualthons and every other matter between here and a gate.
Giving this place Vendrick is right. Giving this place the laugh is not really on the table.
I got a feeling they're not up for bribes. So we will follow this Zeth to the end of his plan. And if it does not work, you will return and we will hatch another. But we haven't given up on you, Huron. And I believe this Gith is capable of doing what he says. I'm trying to give him some false hope, but in the truth of it, I don't have any faith that this is going to work either. But I'm putting up a brave front for this man because I believe that if he believes it, the chances of success are greatly enhanced. So.
He continues to stay as close as he possibly can to you, Seda. His hand never really leaving your shoulder or petting your head. He'll play with your ear now and then too, but otherwise he will go along and ask what you need of him, but he doesn't go out of his way to do anything. Or
as she goes, she looks over to Vendrick. Since Vendrick was so interested in her story before, she would look over and kind of whisper to Vendrick that the creatures he was talking about are the same ones that got Butterspoon.
Yes, I did not see them, but it seems the description is the same as what Zahn saw, laughing as my body was ripped apart. 'Tis madness, I tell you, but
we've got to help him.
Maybe. I know about the shadow creatures on the first floor. I know that's what is kept there. Then maybe there is lots of connections of creatures of this place. But you are the outlier, for you have seen it outside of this place, dwarf.
If they're torturing him after what they did to Butterspoon, I don't know. I'm not a very big thinker, but I don't think he should be here anymore.
We're going to do our best to get him out of here.
So she kind of leads him along as they go. Grabs Tiva, pulls Tiva by her side as she keeps walking too.
I reach out the book and present it to Huron.
Your anchor.
And I said, but, and I look back to Seda.
My job here is done.
As he takes the book from me.
He'll take it, holding it kind of close to his chest, staying as close as he can to Seda. Nods. Says, I'll keep my word. Get me out of here. I will give you back this book with the words that it contains, with the ramblings of Jason, and perhaps you can find what you're looking for, sir. Perhaps I can find an escape. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours.
Speaking of what we're looking for, do you know a cat with 3 paws who speaks by the name of Karuth?
I do not.
Okay.
Well, let's go. I squeeze myself through the door again and go first.
When we're all inside the chute, I'm going to lay my hands on Huron. And game mechanics wise, what I'm doing is going to cast both Remove Fear and Protection from Evil on him.
Okay.
It says evil for the purpose of the spells is a colloquial term. It should properly be called Protection from Chaos. I don't know why it's not called Protection from Chaos then, but basically, for the purpose of the spell, chaotic creatures include undead creatures, monsters with any sort of magical ability or attack, or any creature that is able to use magic, including magic users and elves, but not clerics. Any sort of supernatural creature, beings and manifestations, etc., can't touch the subject of the spell.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So cast Remove Fear to uncloud his mind, and then protect him with the blessings of Zerthamon.
Depending on how long it lasts, I'm not going to be able to interact with them in any magic, because I meet most of those criteria.
Yeah. Hopefully, so do these things.
He will step into this elevator thing, staying next to Seda as close as he can. As all of you file in, this door in front of the thing closes up. Again, as you move through this room, you can see all these other people in the room, some of them screaming out, some of them walking around aimlessly. They all look a little whacked out. But this door files close in front of you, Zephyr. You can see the whole little panel is lit up once again back to normal. Your code or your card is sticking out from the box thingy, so you can take it. But it has L and then 1 through 10.
Well, push it back in and go back to 1.
Slide the card back in. You can hear it click into place. And then the floor starts to rise. You guys do anything?
No.
I mean, close
I
our
close
eyes.
my eyes.
Eyesies closies. And I tell Heron as well.
He closes his eyes. I assume everybody else does. And then you can feel the floor lift. You smell, once again, that utter decay and grunginess as it starts to wash over you. The floor rumbles a little second. 10, 15 minutes or seconds pass. Then you feel the floor itself stop. You all just stand there.
Now, when he said 1, I'm thinking he meant to say lobby or L, not. Floor.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you got it. You're not going to drop us off in the Shadow Realm. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Well, as long as we got to the right floor, I open my eyes and start to move out towards the Modron, as if trying to act as casual as possible.
You do not get to the right floor. Actually, you move up. You can feel the floor rising, and you can smell that decay and everything. But you hear this heavy clunk sort of sound, and you feel the floor rumble a little bit. And all of you get the sense that you have not reached the lobby area again. It took significantly less time, and it really feels like you only maybe moved up 1 floor. But the elevator itself, or this thing, has completely stopped moving.
According to Book and his enlightenment on the way down, this would be a place of sewers, a place of debris and bodily fluids, potentially. So I suggest we not get out here. But how do we get the tomb to continue upward? Hit the button again, will you, Zephyr?
I go over and I push past and try to hit the L button again. Still feeling a little bit nervous about this whole thing, the fear from earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not opening my eyes. I'm not opening my eyes yet. I'm just going to reach out and feel where I imagine I'm still standing next to it, and just feel where the buttons were, and press the damn thing again like it's an elevator that's not working.
You know where that button is. It's the first one on the top left order. Push it. You can feel it click in and come back out, but nothing happens. And click it again. Even if you keep pushing, nothing seems to move.
Can you
Then
push the button now?
You hear a heavy...
The blasted thing is broken.
Yeah, you hear a heavy
man.
slam right next to you, Zan, off to your right, as if something just smashes against this outside of this glass tube.
I open one eye on that side.
Give me a
No.
versus paralyzation.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No.
That's a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Open just one eye, just for the briefest, even that second, and you can see just outside on the other side of this glass wall, this humanoid-like body. It's slumped over. These wounds cover it. It has what looks to be these serrated teeth. Eyes are a little bit crooked, and the whole thing's a little bit off. Pale yellow skin, completely naked, and it's plastered itself up against this glass side to the tube right where you're at. And these deep, reddish, palish, almost like pinkish colored eyes stare back at you, and you're just completely struck with fear, unable to move your limbs. It's as if all of your muscles have tensed right up, and you're just stuck staring at this thing in the eyes. You see this long, slimy, bluish-colored tongue just lick across the glass, and this smile spreads across its face.
You hear like a...
Well, when she does that, I'm going to open...
He,
sorry.
Yeah, that sound's coming out of a male barrier.
Yeah. Not having any understanding of what the hell's going on, so she's going to like look and try to open her eyes to look at Zan to wonder what the hell's going on.
Open your eyes. You see Huron is still standing next to you. His whole body is shaking, but his lips are pressed tight and his eyes are just clenched shut. Besides Zan, you see that he has one eye closed, but the other one is open, staring off to the side. And just past his body, you see this thing up against the glass. Its eyes sort of shift around, looking at all of you, and then it locks eyes with you as well. Seda, give me a roll versus paralyzation.
Okay, so I passed mine a 9/8.
All right. So you're struck with a fear like normal, but you're not actually paralyzed. But you see another one is you see that you kind of look forward in front of the doorway where this glass door is, standing there as well. These long, thin fingers trying to pry between the seams to pull this thing open.
So I'm going to go ahead and pull my axe. Is the
no!
door made of glass too?
Is what?
Is the door where they're trying to pry in, is that made of glass also?
Glass steel.
Glass steel. Yeah.
You would see it as glass. I don't think you would know what glass steel is, but yes.
Okay.
It's not getting through, but it's definitely getting its nails in there to try and pull the door open.
Is glass steel considered metal? Is it
Yes,
just like a clear metal?
Yep.
Ooh, okay.
So she would call out, are those things supposed to be here?
What things? What are you seeing?
I open my eyes at that as well.
Really scary looking things?
What are they doing?
Trying to claw into the door? And scare the crap out of things?
You would see these things, but you are not affected by them.
Do they appear to be demonic and or undead in nature?
As you look at them, you see them, they look like ghouls. They come across everything you would expect of a ghoul, but instead of just their claws causing paralyzation, it seems something in their eyes does. As you notice, Zan has made eye contact with this other one outside of it. But otherwise, they come across as ghouls to you.
They are undead monsters, Zephyr. Not like me. Not a monster like me, no. Different. They want to eat our faces. Do not let them in here, dwarf. Bury the door. Bar the door, dwarf.
Do not open the door for any reason.
Hit that button again, Zephyr.
I'm smashing that button.
I step forward at the dwarf's shoulder, hand on sword, draw the sword out in a defensive posture.
What is the floor that we're standing on made of?
Marble.
Everybody step back from the walls.
Into the center of the room, you mean? Come here, Bowyer. Closer.
And
Come here, you sticky beasts.
Do not touch them by any means.
No, you cannot.
You hear only...
I see the fear in him and that I am not affected. I circumvent his body, and in the brief moments it takes, I'm going to attempt to push his body out to the center of the room.
What's your strength?
My strength is 12.
Yeah, give me a strength roll. Because you might be strong enough to kind of shove him enough to.
Yeah,
I'm not that heavy.
I'm just gonna shoulder his rump into the center of the room there. So I got to roll under the strength or over.
Under.
Under. I missed. I rolled 13.
You're able to still do it, but it takes a few moments to really shove this thing as you feel
Hold tight, Zephyr. One moment.
I'm pushing on him.
I'm gonna cast heat metal on the plasteel.
Oh, nice.
See how they like that.
As you shoulder Zahn in a little bit, Vendrick, you'll notice a third one comes up, plastering itself to the glass, a fourth, and then finally a fifth. It's kind of all around it in different areas. The one's still at the door. You can see the nails of this thing just starting to get through the door frame and starting to pull it out. Just half an inch to an inch as it starts to pull it free. But they all basically just plastered themselves to the glass. They make crude motions, licking the glass with this long tongue.
But it is metal, right?
Yep.
Why would they house these monstrosities?
So this metal that they're licking and touching and pressing their bodies up against is about to become extremely hot. Yeah.
Ooh. It's getting steamy in here. All right, what's it do? Do I need to make a roll or?
I think it just does damage over the course of turns.
All right, let's see. Heat metal. Let's see if I have to do anything odd. Let me see.
The first turn, it just starts to feel warm. The second turn, it does 1d4 damage. Turns 3 through 5, it does 2d4, and then on the sixth turn, it starts to cool a little bit and does back to 1d4.
Gotcha. All right.
And I got something I want to do while
do you want to? I have to BRB for a second. Do you mind just rolling for me? Did you catch that? So first turn, nothing.
I gotcha.
Second turn, 2d4, 3 through 5, 4d4, and then the last turn is the sixth turn.
Gotcha.
All right, I'll be right back.
You guys mind if we take like a 5-minute break, then we'll finish this encounter and
yeah, we can do
probably
that.
Put us in about the other thing because I can run to the bathroom anyway. So.
All right.
Cool. Great, let's do that.
Back.
What the heck are those fresh sheep droppings that Ambika posted?
That's very disgusting. Yeah, I've never seen that before, so that's not common. It's not a common item.
I'm back. I don't know what's going on.
Look at sheep. Ambika posted sheep droppings. That's sweets from
food.
Germany.
Are we almost done? We're going to play for a half hour longer.
For probably about a half hour. I'll end at 6 o'clock is my target. Yeah, because this actually won't take too long, and then what I have after this is sort of where I figured to be the ending point, is the cliffhanger here.
My house is chaos upstairs.
There's Rushback.
So what happened with or did you guys finalize the heat metal? Did that happen?
Yep. So John's back too. Let me swap back over and we can finish this off. So as you cast heat metal, Zephyr, Zahn and Vendrick and Seda, you guys would see these things on the outside since you have your eyes open. Just, they immediately start to smoke. You can see their skin start to melt to the glass outside.
I don't like that, do you?
These hideous like screams rush from these things. The whole building, or this tube that you're in anyway, shakes a little bit, though. It seems like something else is going on. You can feel it tremble underneath your feet a little. Seda, are you guys back?
Yeah.
Okay, can you give me, I think, because you're the dwarf, an architect roll?
Sure. 4. Okay. So I need under a 4. I got a 1 under a 4.
All right. So as you see this metal or this glass, it heats up, and you can, even though you see it as glass, you probably don't realize it's metal. It works much like you would expect metal to fashion. You can feel the ground beneath your feet rumble a little bit, and you recognize this to be something along the line of an earthquake or something big is going on. And as you do, you can see the glass around you. It doesn't crack like glass. Instead, it separates at small seams, and they're perfectly lined up. And it looks like you're in a, or you get the sense that it's like a metal tube, and it's starting to pull apart at the seams. Even though you see it as glass, it's working like you would see metal work. And you get the sense that there's either something big overhead that is like an earthquake or something major happening that is causing both this tube to not be working the way it should and to start separating.
So the first thing was, while that's happening, do I notice that is he still clawing his way, trying to claw his way through the door?
One is yes. The 4 that are kind of plastered themselves up to glass, though, have almost like begun melting to this metal. They're trying to pull away, but it's pulling away their flesh and stuff. So they're going to take damage from that because they're getting cooked alive. But the other one, his fingers are, but it's still pulling it. So maybe he has it like 2 or 3 inches at the moment as it's getting ready to shove it open.
So she's gonna. So Seda would say she would step over to where he's trying to pull the door open, and she would shout at the others and go, "It's an earthquake! Keep hitting the buttons, and if it won't go up, make it go down." And then she takes the butt of her axe, and she's gonna take it and try and bash right into his fingers and try and like smack his fingers and make him let go of the door.
Yeah, you can just hear these fingers crunch and a bit of this thickly black like blood just smear across the door. It'll snap its fingers back, but quickly again try to keep on opening the door. This long black tongue waggling in between the seams and sort of licking at your face, Seda.
Hanging him as he tries to put through. I'm just gonna keep jabbing at him.
Up ahead or over top, as you look up, Seda, you can see the top. It's also glass on the top, but it seems to separate a little bit, enough that it's starting to pull apart. You can see that you have 3, what you would call stories, 3 stories above you. You can see the lobby up above you, but the elevator itself, it doesn't seem to be going nowhere as you smash the button, Zephyr. Doesn't matter which one you hit. It's completely locked. Say, do you get the sense that maybe something was thrown offline and it's basically been jammed into place?
Let's call out. Holler up there.
Can I still only squeal like a little girl?
The moment, yes. You can talk, but...
Hello!
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. While I'm jamming at the fingers, I guess Seda would actually look around, since she's probably used to elevators and things like this in a dwarf hold for getting up and down through, and start immediately looking to see if there's anything that, with her limited capacities, that she could try and figure out how to move or do something to get the thing unstuck.
I'm gonna pull out my 50-foot rope and start tying my pole to it.
When you look up, Seda, you can see where the glass basically has begun to pull apart on the ceiling. It's not wide enough that you would fit through, but Tiva most certainly could fit through there, as it's sort of starting to spread a little bit more and more. You could potentially muscle it open further enough for other people to fit through, but the only one who would fit at the moment would be Tiva.
On this floor?
The roof of the elevator is starting to separate above.
Oh, okay.
In front of you, this thing keeps pushing the door open as you smash its fingers. Go ahead and give me a damage roll, actually, for smashing its fingers.
All right, just the same damage roll just for the weapon itself?
Yeah. That's
all right, so that would be 6.
Gotcha. You eventually end up crushing one whole hand of this thing, but it gets enough of its hand in to push this thing out. It starts to shoulder its way through the doorway. With that, let's roll initiative.
Uh-oh.
And I applied 4 rounds of the heat damage to these things, too, so there's 2 more left. So
four rounds?
Yep.
Do you want me to roll that, or did you roll it?
I already got it from that, but after this, on your turn, I'll have you roll that first and then take your turn.
Okay.
Initiative bonus. Do I have initiative bonus? I don't think so. So Seda got a 16.
Oh, it's a 1d6.
I'm sorry.
Plus any modifiers that you have.
3 for me.
Tiva got a 6.
Got it.
I don't.
And you add a dex modifier to it?
Yeah, you add.
Oh, do I?
Yes.
Okay, then that means I got a 12.
I have a 4.
You have plus 6.
I have a plus 4. 6. I'm sorry, 10.
10. Yeah, let's say.
10.
Zan, what did you get?
Tiva can't count.
Right, what do I need? Zan, what did you get?
A 4.
Zan got a 4. Zephyr, you got a what?
4.
4. All right, that's everybody. Oh, Seda, what do you got?
Seda got a 5.
All right. Yeah. And Vendor got a 3. All right. All right, so Tiva, you are standing there with your eyes closed at the moment, probably hearing all of this, but you haven't opened your eyes yet, so what do you do?
Well, I'm going to open my eyes and look around and
Give
see
me a save versus paralyzation first, then.
Ah, crap.
D20, and you got to get over the paralyzation on the first one.
Oh, well, it's 14.
Your save is 14?
Yeah. I got to get over it?
Yeah.
I got a 19.
She made it.
Nice.
Yes.
Why is mine only
Whoop,
8?
whoop.
You are afraid, but not paralyzed. What do
Okay.
you do?
So, looking at her surroundings, and we've got somebody coming at the door. We've got Seda attacking the thing at the door, and you said that the top part is starting to open.
Yeah. So you can see these 4 that are plastered to the glass around you are all like singed and burnt on the front as they're pulling their stuff away. The skin's still sticking to the steel, but they're starting to pull away. The one at the door is shouldering its way through. And then, yeah, if you look up above you, you can see that the top of this thing is separated enough that you would fit through. The others won't, but you know you will.
Okay.
I have my rope in my hand and like a telescoping retractable like 10-foot pole. And like if oh, I haven't opened my eyes yet, so I can't see it. Never mind. Carry on.
She's gonna see if Seda can give her a boost and help hoist her up to the opening that's on the top.
All right. And then Seda,
help me get up here.
Well, I'm fighting the thing at the door, though.
Oh, I mean, are you holding the door?
I'm actively engaged in combat with the one in the door, yes.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Zephyr's not.
No, I'm kind of just standing there after pushing Zahn into the center of the room.
All right, well, she's going to say, somebody help me up here.
I just hold my hands out, like lace my fingers together and hold my hands out.
Okay, so she climbs up on top of him.
As soon as I feel a heel in my hands, I just lift you up.
So then she grabs a hold of one of the sides of the opening and then hoists herself up and gets to her feet. And then she's looking around. So what does she see?
You were basically, once you hold out your hands and he lifts you up the best he can, you get to the top and pull yourself through this little thing. You might be able to open this up more big enough for the others to get through. The big issue would be Zahn, how to follow from. The others might be able to get through if you could muscle it open. As far as looking around, though, you're 2 stories from the top, so about 30 feet, because each one's about 15 foot, so about 30 feet from the top where you can see the lobby above. Mm-hmm. You can hear sounds of people screaming, and the whole ground shakes a little bit. It's through like vibrations or something. Mm-hmm. You can see what would be the next floor up above, which is just this bright white light. You can't see in there because you're not high enough, but you can see this bright white light pouring down around you. And then up above that, you can't really see much more from where you're at.
Okay.
I hold up my rope with the pole attached to it. As I like boost you up, I pulled out my I have like a 50-foot length of rope.
Okay, well, she tries to reach down. Well, it's on a pole, though, right?
Yeah. She's
okay.
Yep.
All right, then she grabs a hold of it and she pulls the rope up, but then she needs to open she needs to try to get the opening open more, I guess. So what she's gonna do is what now?
No, I thought I don't know.
No, she's gonna try to get the opening wider for everybody to fit through. Yeah. Gotcha. So what she's gonna do, she's gonna try to sit on one side of the opening and then take her feet and then push to try to open the opening more with her feet.
Yep. I'll have you make that roll at the end of the round to see how much you can get it open.
Okay.
Seda, what do you do?
So he's got the door open, the main door area. It's open about, maybe 8 inches wide or so. Mm-hmm. So she's going to flip her great axe around and just swing right into the opening, overhead chop, and try and just cleave this thing as hard as she can.
Alrighty, go for it.
So that would
AC is 14.
And I shit you not, there's no criticals in this, is there?
No, that's an auto hit.
I hit it.
Go ahead and do the damage.
All right. Damage is an damage bonus. Wait a minute.
Nope, just whatever the die is.
You don't get. Oh, that's right. The strength is just on your 2 hit, right?
Yep.
All right, so that's 8 points of damage.
Your axe cleaves right into the shoulders, thing right down through its collarbone into its chest area, just sort of flaying it open a little bit. Lets out this scream as it falls back. The door itself is about 8-9 inches open, but beyond that, you can see a second one of these things running towards the door, a third, fourth, fifth. And it just looks like a whole horde of them in this room that are rushing towards this door opening. The other 4 that were plastered up against the metal are still peeling away from it. Zahn and Zephyr, you guys are up. Whichever one wants to go, wherever. Yes, you cannot move at the moment, so I guess.
Somebody slap the goat.
What do you do, Zephyr? You're
dang.
Oh, goofy.
Am I?
There you go.
Yeah, I missed your description of the damage that the ghoul that was trying to get through.
He cleaved it right in half, so just flayed it apart. But beyond that, you don't have your eyes open, so you wouldn't see what's behind it. But
all right, I'll open my eyes at this point.
All right, give me that save versus paralyzation.
And it is not a spell?
No, it is not.
Yeah, having a high wisdom modifier is pretty awesome. I got it.
All right. Beyond that, you see a horde of these things that are rushing towards the door. There's
The next level above. The next level above is clean and full of luxury, according to book. It's got to be better than this. We must climb.
I look to Zahn.
I feel you're not going to make it, Zahn.
No shit!
We'll tie a rope around her and I'll pull her up.
I will lend hand to such task.
And I'm gonna try to jump up there.
all right. Let's see how she does. Actually, Vendor, give me your action first, and then I'll have Seda roll to see if she can get that open enough for you guys to fit through.
Oh, right, yeah.
So Tika's gone up already, and she's the one trying to open it up. Is that correct?
Yep.
And Sada's fighting the ghouls off, and Zahn is still terrified and afraid to move.
Yep.
I will. Can I begin to climb up then as well?
Yeah, or you could try to help her open the doorway enough. It's at the end of the round. I was going to see how far she has it open to see who would fit through. I mean, you could lend a hand if you wanted.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to go up and help Tika lend some muscle, see if I can't pry it open enough to get Zahn through. Otherwise, we're going to have to fight our way through these ghouls. Before I did so, though, I glanced through the steel or the glass steel into the room, past the goo of the melting ghouls that's all upon the surface. I want to try to get an idea of how big this space is. If it's just a small, limited space like the room, the cottage, or if this something is much vaster.
It looks, from what you can see around, it's kind of dark and grimy, but it looks to be about 100-foot square around you. So about 50 foot in front, 50 behind. And then it looks like it branches off into smaller tunnels and stuff out from there, but you can't see down what's in them or nothing.
Right. So I'm getting the sense that there's no rhyme or reason or uniformity to these levels, and that it could be interdimensional and it could be anything.
That's exactly what you get. What you can see in this room, there looks like be 16 ghouls at the moment. 4 of them plastered, other ones running in, but there's more coming out of the tunnels from different directions.
Right. Do not let those things claw you, Seda. I will help Tika above.
And I start to try and scurry up and see if I can't get it open.
All right, so both of you give me strength checks. I need to know how many points you are under whatever your score is.
Okay. I rolled 7 points under my score.
Oh, nice.
And who?
Tiva.
Yeah.
Do I roll a d20?
Yep. Roll a d20, and then whatever that number is, try to get below your strength score and how many numbers it is.
Oh, I got a 5. It's 5 under.
You guys have got it then. So that's 10. All right. Between you shoving with your feet, putting your back up and bracing yourself and pushing this thing, and Vendrick, maybe get up there and kind of use your sword as leverage or something, push this thing open. You're able to open it up the full amount. You do think the Zahn might fit. It's going to be a tight fit and probably going to get cut up a little bit as you pull him through, but you should be able to get him through. And with that, it's for you'd be able to jump up since you were waiting for that. And same with you, Vendrick. You two would be able to pull yourself up through to the top.
We do have a rope for you said Zahn can be I'm sorry, I'm having audio problems again. What did you say about Zahn being able to get up there?
He should be able to fit through. It's going to be a tight fit and you might get a bit cut up, but he should fit.
Oh well.
It's a matter of like us pulling him up, right, with the rope.
Yep.
Take care of my tail. Take care of my tail.
Tuck it.
And with that, all of the ghouls are just rushing forward. Give me your D4 damage for the heat metal first.
Oh yeah, okay, let's do that. We're on the 4th round now, right? So it's 2d4.
Yep. You might take these 4 out actually, but
we got a 7, 4 and 3.
Yep, you're gonna take all of them out with that last one.
Dead ghouls.
Again, they'll pull themselves away, and it just pulls too much of their skin and stuff. They're just falling apart, covered in these burns. A couple of them catch into flames. The one closest though rushes up to this doorway. It's going to make an attack on you, Seda, as this claw comes through, raking down at you. I got a 19 plus 3, 22.
I haven't like taken my turn yet, right?
Just pulling yourself up through the door.
That's gonna be like I can't like cast a spell.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Well,
then I'd like to.
The one ghoul is up before you, and then it's you guys are pulling yourself through. Say that you're going to take 10 damage. As one of these claws comes through, you can feel it rake across part of your forehead and then just down your neck. These wounds open up. And then Zephyr, and you are up. Basically, you can pull yourself through. Same with you, Vendrick. You still have your action per se, so you can you guys can pull yourself up through. And then what do you do?
Okay, I'd like to. How is Hyron? Is he like feeble, or is he able to climb up the rope?
He's in decent shape. He's just has his eyes clenched and he's trembling like crazy, but
he's not like infirm. Okay. Nope. All right, so I will touch before I go up. I'll touch Zahn and cast and just like clutch my my Zerthamon pendant and cast invisibility to undead.
Ooh, nice.
And say, don't worry, you don't have time. They won't be able to see you or smell you or sense you. We're just going to attach that rope to you and pull you up. And then I say, Sada, get up here. And then I jump up.
So Zephyr pulls himself through. Vendrick, do you do anything else after you pull yourself up through?
Yeah, I cast a spell as well. You see these little black holes, microscopic in nature at first, and then they grow to the size of 2.5 feet. And then all around them, or all around us in that tunnel, you see these holes opening up and falling forth are versions of me falling down to the ground below. I rolled a 3 + 1, so 4 versions of me come through these black holes and drop to the ground below. So basically, these mirror images are there to create some diversion for Sada.
Gotcha.
Nice.
And that would be the end of the round. A couple more of these things are going to pull through. And by this time, Sada, there's just too many of them as they start shoving this door open and get ready to flood into this hallway. Up above you, Tiva, you look up and you can see Wenscale, this female tiefling, staring down. And she has this pile of rope when she drops. You see it dangle all the way down and come to rest at your feet. She says, you need to get out here. Hurry up, hurry up. And let's see. It's in the round. So Tiva, you are up.
Tiva.
I'm so sorry.
Gotta go.
Nope, she's coming.
Sorry. Okay.
No, I mean Tiva. Tiva's gotta go.
I gotta go. Okay. So we're all in the elevator, all on the top of the elevator.
Yes,
all right.
Except for Sada and Zahn.
Yep. Up above you, you can see Wenscale looking down and drop this rope down to you, telling you to hurry up.
All right. So, but what's going on with Sada? You're still battling that dude?
I just got to get out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then come on, Sada, come on.
Yeah.
So she's reaching her hand out. Granted, not going to be long enough because she's tiny, but
we're pulling Zahn through first.
Oh, okay.
We have a rope.
Okay, so
Zahn might create a fucking
say, suck it in, Zahn.
Either help with the rope or start climbing. One of the two.
I tuck my tail in.
Probably all of us need to. It'd probably be best if all of us.
3 of us up top will grin and bear and try to pull Zahn through.
All right, so. Are you climbing up Tiva and then going to help pull Zahn up?
Yeah.
All right. So
I tell everybody no need to rush on that. They won't be able to. They won't be able to see her or detect that she's in there.
They can see me.
Right,
but you're able to get up on your own accord.
Yep, Sada, you would be up in that case. You would see these 3 mirror images of Vendrick standing around you. And he's told you that Zahn is safe regardless because of his spell, as long as that lasts. And there's just a horde of these things getting ready to come through the door any second. You do.
All right. Well, I can't go through until Zahn makes it through the hole. So
no, yeah, you can. You absolutely can.
there's a goat man hanging through the small.
Oh, no, they didn't start pulling them up yet.
No, you can get ahead of them, and you can tell Euron to get up ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought he was already dangling in the air, being pulled through.
Not yet.
All right. So, is it possible to make an attack and then get up the thing, or am I going to have to spend the whole action doing that?
Because that would just be a move, so you can attack and then move. Yep.
Yeah. So I want to hit back the one that came through and scratched me in the face.
Okay. Go for it.
And hold on. 7 plus 6 gives me 13. Great Axe, that's all of it together. Is 13 good enough?
No, it is not.
Shit.
Close, but no cigar.
Right, so then I'm going to immediately scramble up, cursing on this.
Pull yourself up through this thing and begin climbing up the ladder. Let's see. Zahn and Zephyr, are you guys climbing on up?
I came up last round.
Yeah, everybody.
Climbing
I imagine
up,
you didn't say it, but I imagine like on the last turn, Hyron took his came up too.
Yeah.
Okay, so now everybody is on top except for Zahn.
Correct. Yep.
And okay, so I just yell down to Zahn to affix that rope to you to yourself. Get it nice and secure.
She can't, or he can't. He's paralyzed.
You see my arms like shaking, and I'm still staring at the things, and then you hear
seriously?
again. Ah!
Yeah.
Okay.
And you see my tail wiggle.
I how far is it to her torso from the ceiling?
About 8 feet.
Okay.
Let me go. They do not want my flesh, for I am unliving.
And I start to crawl down the rope.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Secure that rope to Zahn.
Lady goes, "You're what?"
I breathe no air. No blood flows through me. I am like them, only different.
You can drop down, tie this around, and even get back up as these things just flood around into this room. Some of them swipe it. Maybe you as you're climbing up, and all these mirror images of you, and they completely ignore you, Zahn, for the moment. Even though they flash around you, it's as if they don't even see you're there.
Yeah, it's still disgusting. I will never forget the tongue.
Yes, this one tongue just kind of swipes across your face as it
Oh my
licks
God.
the air around you. And you're able to get that wrapped around her, Vendrick, or him, sorry. Climb back up above. You can see Wench Scales just waving frantically for you guys to get up.
Okay, everybody, on 3. 3.
With all of you, with all of you, can definitely pull her up, or him. Yeah. As they pull you through, you can feel the edges of this glass steel cutting into your flesh, and as they kind of squeeze you through this opening, Zahn. Unfortunately, 9 points of damage, Zahn.
What?
They just scrape you up through. You can feel these jagged glass. One cuts into your neck, another one through your gut.
We didn't open it. We didn't open it wide enough.
You're paralyzed. You can't fight against it. Just take it.
Hang on. One important question, though. Did I lose my tail?
Nope, it still wiggles.
Okay. Just one info. I'm on 1 hit point.
All right.
If hang on a second, right? If we're pulling her up, there's any kind of resistance, I'm not just gonna blindly rip her through if she's up against something sharp. Can we once we get her to the top, just easily maneuver her up? There's no danger of bills below because they can't detect her. So I don't want to
The big issue here.
Was it open? Was the opening of the elevator jagged?
Yes.
Did it open? I thought it came open at a seam.
Oh no, you've got it. It's been jagged, sort of, but you got it open as far as between Vendrick and Tiva could get it. It's still.
Once he takes damage, wouldn't that invisibility spell dissipate?
Shut up, Troy!
just saying.
No, it only she'll only become visible to the undead if she like attacks them or does something that'll like reveals herself.
That's an L shape, not a human shape, and you're trying to pull something that's L shaped through a square hole, and there's
Did you just call me L shaped?
You are L shaped. You're shaped at a right angle.
Is there any way to make a dex roll to mitigate some of that, or is it just like she's gonna get shredded going through there no matter what?
No, you can give me a dex roll if you want to try and maneuver it and take the time to do it. I mean, you probably have the time since.
Yeah, that's what I cast that spell on her so that we wouldn't, so that we'd have like a.
Yeah, give me a dex roll, just a 1d20 under your dex, and let me know how many numbers under the dex you get.
Just for the full picture of the scene, those ghouls have flooded into the space that we left, right?
Yes.
They've come inside and they've seen where we went.
Yes, they have.
Right. I'm just picturing, a typical fucking I Am Legend scene or something like that.
And they try to get up.
Ready to happen.
Do they seem nimble enough to get up? Really? Okay. Oh, good.
Well, I rolled an 11, which is under my dex score by 3. My dex is a 14. I rolled an 11.
All right, so yeah, reduce that by I'll say 3 points then.
Okay.
Zephyr.
Thank you, Zephyr.
Yeah,
not just
just trying to
yank your mouth
through like
that large warrior booty. Just
everything Zephyr does.
White.
Yeah. Even this he's basically been like very calm and measured. There's been no panic or anything.
So up above, Windscout just keeps waving you forward. You guys can all climb up this thing. Below, the ghouls are more interested in just slashing everything, which would be the mirror images and stuff of Vendrick.
I take my rope and pull.
So as everybody's climbing up, there is a rope or chain or something that's holding the elevator. Is it a rope?
There is nothing that holds the elevator. It looks like it's run magically, but up above, Windscale has dropped a rope down from the lobby down to you guys.
So there's nothing I can cut that'll make the elevator continue to fall?
Not that you see, no.
Shit. All right.
It's magic.
I reach for the rope immediately. I grab Euron and push him to the rope first, and I indicate with a nod of the head for him to climb.
As you guys
I'm gonna go last and loop the rope around like my foot, so I'm taking it up with me as I go.
Okay. Well, you guys might actually have to tie it to Zan and lift her all the way out, or him all the way out. I don't know if he can really climb. How good can a warrior climb?
He needs to have insane core strength and like upper body.
Have you ever seen goats climb the side of mountains?
That is very true.
Well,
they can do it better than any human.
That is true.
I have a 12 strength, so
you can tie the rope around my waist and climb with it attached to Zahn, and I'm pretty sure I can pull both of us.
All right.
Oh shit!
Because my strength is 17.
You hear me mutter like bloody crap, bloody crap, bloody crap.
Actually, Zan's still paralyzed too, so he wouldn't even be able to climb. So he'd have to be last as you guys tie him up and start pulling him up. It doesn't matter. Any one of you can make. Just give me a dexterity roll.
Oh.
Whoever has the best, probably.
I got a 14. Does anybody?
Eva probably. Tiva's got an 18 dexterity.
This is to try and control Zahn try to control Zahn getting through again, or just initial climb.
No, just general one to get out of here last, sort of.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tiva
got a 5 under an 18.
Beautiful. So Huron quickly clambers up this thing and gets to the top. Vendrick behind him, and then probably Zephyr and Seda. Both of you grab a hold of this rope that's tied off to Zahn and start pulling him up through. Below, you can see one of your mirror images drop, and then the second, the third. And then these things start to try and pull themselves up, making that like wall of ghoul as they start to pull themselves through. As you get up there, though, you're able to grab a hold of Zahn's rope and start pulling him up just out of reach. You can feel one of these claws tickle the bottom of your hoof, Zahn, as they scramble trying to get you, this long tug raking across your abdomen and stomach as they pull you up out of the way. Up at the top, as you turn, Vendrick, you can see Huron look over. His eyes widen as he looks at Windscale, and he rushes forward, wrapping this woman in a hug. Almost this look of absolute joy across his face. And as you watch, it's sort of changes to one of fear as he looks beyond. Outside, you can see from this large opening of the doorway, and part of the front of the building has now collapsed. You just see hundreds upon hundreds of Modrons moving down this road outside. Duo drones, the tertiary ones, all the way up through, just this horde, hundreds and hundreds of Modrons moving through the street. And he looks back at Windscale. He takes a step back, looks at his hands, and then this utter gasp of fear as he looks at Windscale. You see him hold his hands up.
I put my hands on my hand on his shoulder and say, "It's okay. Zerthamon's protections are on you. No fear. They can't harm you.
Give
Have
me
no fear."
a strength check. Actually, it's going to be against his, so just a 1d20 plus your strength modifier. I got a 17.
I get an 8.
He looks.
Is
at
he
you,
trying to like wrestle me?
He just kind of shoves you back a little bit. He says, "No, this isn't right." And he's staring directly at Windscale. You can see her face sort of open wide a little bit. As he holds his hands up, you just see this blast of flame come from his hands. Vendrick, you recognize it as a fireball, and it just wraps around Windscale. She lets out this scream as this flame just rolls down through this hallway, dissipating and kind of exploding around. It doesn't catch any of you, but it catches directly onto Windscale. By the time some of this clears up a little bit, you just see her body, just this burnt husk on the ground before. Outside, more and more of these Modrons move down. You can feel the stomping of their feet. You actually see a Decadrone, one of these huge, massive, larger than these buildings are, stomping down past the way. And we will end it there for the night.
Oh, dang it!
Tieflings, fire resistance of some sort?
They do, but it does not work in this case. This is not
man.
Vendrick,
straight up crisps her, huh?
Vendrick, you can give me an intelligence check, though, because you might recognize what's going on outside.
Intelligence check. I beat it by 3 points.
All right. So Vendrick has heard of this thing called the Modron March. Every 512 years, Modrons pour forth from Mechanus. And they basically make this huge trip around the realms and all of the planes. They don't know exactly why or what for, but it is 103 years early. But that is definitely what's going on outside.
Oh, wow.
And it's upwards of 100,000 plus Modrons of every rank just piling forth out of this portal.
How fortunate we're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I can't move.
It's a portal that we had seen earlier with the brick, the portal to Mechanus?
Yep.
Okay, very cool.
Oh, shit.
So they're leaving to go do what they're doing during the Modron March.
Yep, it's something that's activated by Prime, the leader of the Modrons, every 513 years. Like I said, it's 103 years early from what you would know.
Right on. I know what it is, but my character doesn't.
Boy, and yeah, we will leave it from there for the night. Let me end this broadcast. Thank you, guys.